Hey mamas, welcome to today's workout. We've got a 15-minute prenatal workout for SI joint pain and SPD pain. So you'll need a band. We're going to do some glute and hamstring activation. You'll need a set of weights. You'll need a little bench or something to elevate for hip thrusts, and maybe a towel or pillow if you're using something kind of hard like I am. Okay, we're going to begin on our mat with some heel slides. And what we're going to do here is just get some glute and hamstring activation to get the body warmed up to work the arm muscles. So what we're going to do is take a deep inhale in. Expand through those lateral ribs. Exhale, engage the core and pelvic floor. We're going to push the front heel away. And as you bring it back in, I want you to squeeze your calf toward your hamstring, squeeze your glute. And we're going to switch. Same thing on this other side. Dig that heel in. It might stick a little bit depending on your surface you're using here. If you're on a wood floor, you might place a towel under your heel to make it a little more easier to slide in and out. And you're just pushing that heel down, squeezing your glute, activating those hamstrings. So SI joint pain, SPD are really common during pregnancy, and we're going to work on alleviating that pain today, strengthening the muscles that are weak and releasing those that are tight and tense. Now you're going to come over onto one side. You're going to take your band. It works best if you have one like this with a little handle, because you're going to place that underneath your foot and pull tight to where you feel some tension. You're going to lay down, extend both legs. You're going to bend the top leg, heel toward your butt, like a little hamstring curl. Then I want you to feel tension. So if it's loose, it's not going to work. So pull to feel tension, and you could just place your arm wherever is comfortable. You can prop your head up. You're going to extend that leg, flex the foot all the way in line with that other leg. Now you're going to curl, push back through that heel, keep that foot flexed, curl the calf toward your hamstring, and extend again. You may need a little more time here to feel those hamstrings kick in, and try not to bend here. Try to pull back and really use that hamstring here. You're going to feel it maybe a little bit in your quad, but I want you to mainly feel it in the back of that leg, hamstring and glute. Now let's switch that to the other side. If you don't have a band here, you can try these without it. It's not going to give quite the same effect, but you'll still get some work, and you can stay upright here if that works better. I just find lying down works a little bit better for me. So again, you want to kind of pull this band to make it tight enough to where you feel that hamstring. And I pulled it a little too far forward. You could even see I did that. I tend to kind of use my hip flexors instead of my hamstrings, and that's really common. So we want to try to activate those hamstrings and glutes, keep that foot flexed. And again, use the hamstrings, not the calf either. It's a challenge for sure. And you can prop your head up if you need with a pillow, something here to make it more comfortable. Squeeze that glute hamstring. You're just relaxing the bottom leg. Try not to tense too much. And we're going to release that. All right, we are going to come into a staggered stance. So come on up to your feet. You can get that band out of the way. We're not going to be using that again. You can grab 1 or 2 dumbbells. I'll show you both options here. And if you want to put shoes on, you could do that. You're going to place your right foot in front, your left foot, the toes lined up with your back heel, and you want them a little wider than hip distance apart. You're going to shift your hips back into that front leg for a deadlift. Exhale, brace that core, engage pelvic floor at the top. Inhale, come down with a long straight spine, chin is tucked. Exhale, drive up through that front heel. So the stagger stance is going to alleviate some of that joint pain by distributing the weight equally through the legs, but you're going to get more of that front hamstring and glute and a little bit of that back quad, but not a lot. So the back leg is more of a kickstand, but you're pushing through those toes, pushing through the front heel. You could also drop one weight and use just the same weight of the leg that's forward, or weight in the same hand. And you can also hold on to something or put your arm out for balance. Okay, let's do that same thing other side. So this time, left foot forward, right foot, toes are in line with that front heel. Let's hinge forward into that front leg. And again, we want a long straight back here. Tucking that chin, keeping a nice neutral spine. going down as deep as you can. Now, based on where you're at in your pregnancy, you may not be able to go full parallel to the floor. If that belly is getting in the way, you may also need to go a little bit wider with your feet, if that's the case too. And that's not a problem, but going too wide could also cause a flare up with that SPD pain. So we want to be mindful of that as well. And these exercises may or may not be right for you, depending on the weight, depending on just your body. So always be sure to check with your PT or whoever you're working with. Now we're gonna place those dumbbells down. We're gonna grab our little bench here and we're gonna work on some hip thrusts. So what we're gonna do is place the mid upper back on that towel or just the edge of the bench if it's not hard. Mine's just got a hard rim right here. We're gonna walk the feet out, but you want them not too far away. Drop the hips, just gently tap the floor. Exhale, squeeze your butt to the top. Now you might have to play around with the feet. If they're all the way here and your heels are lifted, you wanna walk out, but if they're out here, you wanna bring them in a bit. So when you're up here, you want that chin tucked. You're not laying your head back. You want to keep that neutral spine. Drop the hips again to the floor. Chin should be toward your chest here. Exhale, squeeze here. You can also prop your head up with your hands if that feels good. You can place your hands really wherever works for you. But we're focusing on engaging those glutes. And we want to drive through the hips here, not coming from that low back. So now what we're going to do is add a little pulse to that hip thrust. So we're going to do 2 pulses at the top and then drop. You can place your hands here or maybe here. I know that's kind of the awkward part, trying to figure out what to do with your hands. I always joke, this is my old sorority towel from 2009 with my monogram on it. I just have it flipped over, but you use whatever works sometimes. It also doubles as our sick towel. If you know, you know. If you've got little kids, you have a sick towel or multiple sick towels. Let's get one more in. Really hold that contraction at the top, squeeze those glutes, and relax. Okay, now we're gonna pretend we've got a little Pilates ball between the knees. If you've got a Pilates ball, I want you to grab that, place it between your knees. If you don't though, I don't have one, I'm just gonna pretend like one's there and squeeze those adductors. So we're gonna lift, squeeze glutes, and push inner thighs together, lower back down. Adductors are so important to strengthen when we have SPD and SI joint pain. So use those glutes to lift, push in, quick pause, and then release all the way down. Let's keep that going. And you can rest as long as you want at the bottom if you're feeling like this is really tough to hold it at the top. Just take it however many reps you can. And you can also do a glute bridge in supine on your back and do these same exercises. I just wanted to make this for all trimesters. So if you're not able to lie on your back or you don't feel comfortable lying on your back, if you're second or third trimester, you can still do this. Let's do one more. We're not touching those knees. We're still keeping them hip distance, but giving that little squeeze from the adductors. Okay, come on to your feet again. We're gonna do a staggered squat. So I'll show you the option with 2 dumbbells. You could also just do 1 here. So find that position. Right foot forward, left foot back, left toes are in line with that right heel. We're gonna place the dumbbells up here. You could also do it without weight. We're gonna sit back and down into that squat. Exhale, engage core and pelvic floor, squeeze glutes to the top. Exhale through pursed lips. That's gonna help you fire that deep core and pelvic floor. And you can see when I'm sitting back and down, just above knee line, that knee's pushing through the middle of my front foot and back foot. And again, my back heel's lifted. So we're distributing that weight. And again, if that's too much or you need something to help you balance, you could grab a chair. Let's do that same thing on the other side. And you could absolutely do this with 1 dumbbell. And if you're gonna take it to 1, have it in the same arm of the leg that's forward. So let's switch. Find that staggered squat again. Sit back. Exhale through pursed lips. So the staggered stance is really great for isolating glutes, hamstrings, and that front leg especially, which again is going to help us alleviate that SI joint and SPD pain through pregnancy and postpartum. A lot of times it does resolve postpartum, but if it's still hanging on, some of these exercises are going to be really beneficial. And you can still stay strong and get a good workout. And even if you're struggling with that, heart rate is going up, we're still getting a nice, good muscle burn. All right, put those weights down. We're gonna come to the floor again with the hands under the shoulders and the knees under the hips. We're gonna do a modified bird dog. So what we're gonna do is take the front arm and the back leg to the corner and then reset. Let's switch. So we're just alternating sides. Exhale as you extend the arm and leg away from the body. You can go farther out like I am, or a little bit closer, or you can also do just the arm or just the leg. Lots of options here. What I want you to focus on stability. So when you move the arm and leg away, what's happening through your hips, your trunk? Are you noticing a lot of compensations? Are you noticing any pressure going down to the pelvic floor, going out through your midline? Are you keeping that core strong? So let's rest. Now we're gonna take it to a regular bird dog. So we're gonna let the hand and the foot leave the ground. Deep breath in, exhale, engage that deep core and pelvic floor, and let's lift. So one at a time. Arm is going about shoulder level, the leg is going about hip level. You can flex or point the feet, whatever works for you here. And again, focus on that trunk stability. So important for just finding your core and pelvic floor muscles. The deep core is something that is really important to work on if you've got SI joint or SPD pain, or if you're just wanting to avoid that. This workout can be great for anyone, even if you don't suffer from that. It's still a great prenatal workout to get strong in your glutes, hamstrings, deep core and pelvic floor, because all those things tend to get tight and weak during pregnancy. All right, let's come over onto our side. We're gonna do a side plank hold. So you can bend your knees like this. You can extend one leg over the top. Elbow comes under the shoulder. We're gonna lift from that bottom hip, come up and reach to the ceiling. Now we're just holding this here. So I'm gonna show you the most modified option with the knees forward, hips up. Now, if you find that this is even too intense for you, or you're just feeling pain, I want you to stay on the floor and just practice staying lifted here. So you're not resting, you're lifted here, you're keeping tension in those obliques, pushing through that forearm. You're still getting good core activation here. If you're ready, you can extend that top leg, or you can extend both legs. Just keep breathing. And let's switch to the other side. So same thing again. And side planks are so great for pregnancy and postpartum because we're not going to be putting any pressure down on that pelvic floor or out of the midline if you've got a diastasis, or if you're trying to prevent severe diastasis. And breathing into those lateral ribs. Again, that rib cage mobility, so important for strengthening the core and alleviating pain. It all goes hand in hand and back to the core and pelvic floor. So many parts of pregnancy, so many aspects of it are things we can't control, but I like to think about what can you control. If you're suffering from SI joint and SPD pain, core and pelvic floor dysfunction, that's not your fault. It happens even to those of us who work out for a living, but you can control certain things to help alleviate that pain, help make you stronger, and just build up resilience. So let's lie down. We're gonna finish with a dead bug. So come on down, engage your core. We're gonna lift one foot up and down, back foot. So this is a modified dead bug. We're just focusing on lifting that leg just a couple inches off the floor. It's not a big movement. We're focusing on trunk stability, keeping that lower back toward the ground. It doesn't have to be glued down, but you don't want a lot of arch in that back. You want a strong, stable trunk here. Not a lot of shifting side to side, just staying nice and controlled. Great for working that deep core and pelvic floor. Just a great exercise to do. And if you can't lie on your back for this long, that's okay. You can skip this one. And that's it. Go ahead, roll over carefully onto your side and come up. And that is your SPD and SI joint pain workout. I hope you all enjoyed that and feel some relief after that, and continue to stay strong and healthy through your pregnancy. If you have questions about any of those exercises, feel free to drop a comment below. If you felt relief from any of that or just feeling stronger after doing that a few times, I always love to hear feedback or your experience with the workouts, if they have impacted you in some way and made you feel stronger, healthier, more empowered in your pregnancy. That means so much to me and just other people who are considering doing these workouts and wondering if people, make progress or see results. So thank you all for sharing if you do. And I'd love to see your comments if this workout impacted you in some way. So again, if you have any other questions or workout suggestions, let me know. I've got my prenatal workouts organized on my channel playlist, each trimester, plus postpartum, plus YouTube guides that I have linked in the description from my website to help you navigate the workouts on my channel in a sequence that's going to progressively strengthen your body during pregnancy and postpartum. So with that, I'll see you all back here for our next workout together.